The best investment in firearms right now isn't the new gun everyone's chasing. It's the gun your grandfather owned that everyone forgot about. While panic sellers are dumping them for nothing, smart money is buying quietly, holding silently, watching the price climb. These aren't rare collectibles. These are guns sitting in pawn shops, guns people think are worthless, but the market just proved they're worth more every single month. Number 10. Winchester Model 94. The Winchester Model 94 just did something no one expected. In 1 year, new model prices jumped 27%. That's faster than anything else on this list. Meanwhile, used demand exploded. Over 200 additional units moved on the secondary market in 12 months. That's people hunting for a rifle they thought was dead. Walk back 5 years. The Winchester 94 was invisible. Nobody cared about lever guns. They wanted AR platforms. They wanted modern. Pawn shops filled with old Model 94s. Prices were flat. Then everything changed. Aero Precision entered the market. Smith & Wesson released new lever actions. Suddenly, the lever gun renaissance became real. And the Winchester 94 became the king of that movement. Here's the shift. New Winchester 94s now retail for $1,200 to $1,600. That's a luxury tier rifle. It's not a budget gun anymore. The company positioned it as a premium hunting platform. That repositioning worked. Demand jumped. Collectors started hunting for original examples. The pre-1964 Winchester 94 models are where real value lives. These were hand-fitted. Metal was stronger. A pristine pre-64 pulls $1,500. The early post-64 models pull $600 to $800, but even modern production is climbing because supply is intentionally limited. Winchester is making them slower than demand. That gap is where appreciation happens. Used demand tells the real story. Over 200 units moved in 12 months means hunters aren't waiting anymore. They're buying whatever inventory exists. Prices climb because supply is tightening. Owners understand this trajectory. They're not selling into a rising market. They're holding and watching the floor rise beneath them. Number 9. Daniel Defense M4 V7. The Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 rifle sits in a strategic position right now. New demand jumped 32 units in 12 months. That's small in absolute terms. But when you measure it as a percentage of total V7 sales, it represents a meaningful shift. The rifle is holding value and attracting fresh buyers simultaneously. Daniel Defense builds military-spec rifles with cold hammer-forged barrels and tight tolerances. A brand new DDM4 V7 runs $2,000 at retail. Used models typically hold at $1,200 to $1,400. That 70% retention rate is what matters. When a rifle loses 30% of value and stops there, it's holding value. When it continues dropping, it's collapsing. The V7 is the company's mid-length sweet spot. 16-inch barrel, carbine gas, 15-inch M-lock rail, not overly heavy, not overly light, fast handling. It became the benchmark that established competitors against. Smart money understands the mechanics here. The original V7 production run from 2015 to 2020 is already appreciating. Limited editions climb faster than standard production. New demand rising means shooters are discovering that buying a complete rifle costs less than building one piece by piece. The used market is holding value because shooters who buy them don't destroy them. They respect them. Police and military validation matters. These rifles are deployed operationally. That means reliability is field-proven. That means resale value stays anchored. A used V7 that's been shot hard still brings $800 minimum. Budget brand AR's half that. That's the value difference between a gun engineered for accountability and one engineered for price. Number 8. Remington 870. The Remington 870 used market just did something remarkable. Used demand spiked 265 units in 1 year, while new demand only went up 15. That disconnect reveals exactly what's happening in the market. Here's the timeline. Remington Outdoor Company filed bankruptcy in 2020. By 2021, the panic was real. Shooters thought the 870 would disappear. They rushed to grab them. Prices spiked. Inventory evaporated. Then Armory took over. By 2022, they were back in production. By 2026, they've been making 870s for 4 solid years. Production is normalized. New inventory is available. The scarcity panic ended. But something else happened. A whole generation of shooters discovered the 870 for the first time. They wanted the gun they heard about, the one their grandfather carried, the one that worked. They didn't buy new. They bought used because used was cheaper and abundant on the secondary market. That created demand pressure. Used 870s started moving faster. 265 units is enormous velocity for a single model. That many shotguns flowing through the market means supply is tightening even though new production is steady. Why? Because shooters are buying used 870s faster than people are selling them. The Wingmaster variant is the real story. That's the polished version. Real wood, proper finish. New Wingmaster prices jumped $102 in value. Used ones climbed $44. Those gains are real. Not huge, but real. Smart owners understand the equation. A used 870 Wingmaster in solid condition is worth $560. That's the asking price. The real story is that they don't sit on the shelf. They sell inside days. That means the market price is actually higher. That means people holding them aren't rushing to liquidate. Number 7. Ruger 1022. The Ruger 1022 is the stable gun on this list. New prices went up $2.79, essentially flat. Used went down $4.29, also essentially flat. This gun does not appreciate, but that's exactly why experienced owners hold them. The 1022 is the baseline, the gun that doesn't go backward. You cannot lose money on a 1022 over time. It's mathematically impossible because there are millions of them, and demand is permanent. New shooters buy them. Experienced shooters add them. Collectors gather them. Demand never stops. Here's the real play. Special editions of the 1022 appreciate. Competition models climb in value. Anniversary editions move. Tactical variants hold solid. The standard 18-inch carbine stays flat. That diversity is the whole point. You can't overpay on any version. The worst-case scenario is you break even. The best case is you make a little money. Someone who bought a 1022 competition model 5 years ago paid $800. That same rifle now sells for $875. That's not a quick flip, but that person shot 10,000 rounds through it, competed with it, enjoyed it, and still has the asset. Most guns don't work that way. Most guns depreciate while you own them. You shoot them, and they become worth half. The 1022 breaks even or gains. That's the insurance policy. That's why experienced owners hold them alongside their appreciation plays. It's the stability position, the gun you can shoot guilt-free, knowing you're not destroying value. Number 6. Heckler & Koch P7 PSP. The Heckler & Koch P7 is a masterpiece that will never be made again. Discontinued in 2008. No plans to restart. Every single one that exists is getting older and scarcer. The used value is $2,395, down $159 from last year. That decline is misleading. When production stops permanently, early examples become the real collectibles. The PSP model from the 1970s and 80s are rarer than the later P7M8 or P7M13. Those first-generation squeeze-cocking pistols are starting to become grail guns. The overall average is down because the market is mixing rare and common variants. But pristine PSP examples are appreciating. The P7 was built for German police and military. The design requirement was specific. It had to be safe to carry with a round chambered. It had to be fast to deploy and fire. The solution was genius. The squeeze-cocking lever. Grip the gun and the lever presses. Release and the gun deactivates. No manual safety, No exposed hammer, just physics and ergonomics. Every gun owner who ever shot a P7 commands respect. The precision is German. The reliability is absolute. The ergonomics are perfect. It's small enough to pocket carry but powerful enough to solve real problems. Smart collectors understand the scarcity curve. The P7 series will never increase in production. Production ended permanently. There are maybe 100,000 worldwide. None are being manufactured. In 5 years, there will be fewer. In 10 years, significantly fewer. The price might be slightly soft now, but 20 years forward, a P7 in excellent condition will be worth double. This is the patient hold, not the quick flip. This is the gun you buy at $2,400 and put in the safe. In 15 years, it's worth $3,500 to $4,500, and you never used it, never risked it, just held it while the world forgot how good it was. Number 5. Browning High Power. The Browning High Power is complicated in 2026 because the market shifted unexpectedly. Used prices went up $77 in 1 year. Used demand jumped 37 units. New prices softened by $50. The disconnect between new and used is the story. Here's what happened. FN officially discontinued the High Power in 2018. The market thought it was dead. But in 2022, FN released the High Power, a completely redesigned modern version with new ergonomics and controls. That new gun flooded the market. Simultaneously, Springfield Armory released the SA-35, a true high-power clone. The market is now saturated with high-power variants. New options are everywhere. But the original surplus high powers and original production models are different. They're becoming increasingly hard to find. Original Belgian models from the 1970s and 80s are moving upward in value. That's the real story. A pristine original Belgian high power from 1978 can pull $1,200. American imports are cheaper. But even American models are appreciating because original production is tightening. Used examples are becoming currency because new production doesn't recreate the original. The play isn't about new guns. It's about the originals becoming rarer. When FN discontinued the high power, they stopped production forever on that specific design. The new high power is a different gun. It has different ergonomics, different internals. It's evolutionary, not original. Collectors want the evolution-free original. Smart owners understand this transition. Original surplus high powers are appreciating because options used to exist and now don't. The new high power exists, but it's not the same gun. That separation is driving value to the originals. The market is voting. The originals are winning. Number 4. Glock 17. The Glock 17 jumped $50.34 in 12 months. New demand went up 108 units. Used demand went up 109 units, both moving simultaneously, both moving in the same direction. That's the confirmation signal the market sends when something is shifting. The Glock 17 is the standard pistol across every profession. Carry gun, training gun, the gun everybody understands. When someone new buys their first handgun, it's statistically a Glock 17. When police transitioned from revolvers, they chose Glock 17. When militaries tested in competition, Glock won. Here's what changed. The original Glock 17 Generation 1 from the 1980s is now officially collectible. Not many survived in original condition. The original box matters. Original accessories matter. A pristine Generation 1 with complete paperwork sells for more than a new Generation 6 model. That's the collector shift. The original tool became the heirloom. But standard Generation 5 models are also appreciating. New ones cost $627. Used ones sell for $434. That represents 70% retention on a tool that gets actively used. Someone bought it full price, shot thousands of rounds, and still recovered 70 cents on the dollar. That's exceptional for a firearm. Smart owners understand what Glock proved with engineering. 35 parts, modular design, aftermarket support that's essentially infinite. A Glock 17 bought today will be worth $400 in 5 years. And you got to shoot it the entire time. That's the permanent asset. That's why they hold. It's guaranteed not to become worthless. Number 3. Springfield Armory M1 Garand. The M1 Garand climbed $81.34 in 12 months. New value barely moved. Used prices held steady. But here's the critical distinction. The market divided in 2026. The civilian marksmanship program operates as a congressionally mandated surplus processor. They refurbish original military surplus with new stocks and barrels. They do not manufacture new receivers. Commercial Garand production comes from companies like Fulton Armory or Springfield Armory, Incorporated. These are completely different supply chains. The CMP refurbishes history. The commercial guys build new guns. Smart money understands this split. Original World War II-era Garands, the ones actually manufactured during 1941 to 1945, are becoming increasingly scarce. CMP inventory is finite. Every year there's less. Every year original production guns become older, more valuable. A Springfield-marked Garand from 1943 in excellent condition sells for $1,800, the same year and condition, but Winchester-marked goes higher. Gas trap variants from 1940 and 1941 go significantly higher. Smart money isn't buying new commercial production. Smart money hunts original World War II guns because production was cut off permanently in 1945. The strategy is simple. Supply is finite and shrinking. No new original World War II Garands will ever be produced again. Every gun on the market today is the last chance. Every year, more shooters use them. Every year, fewer exist in unfired condition. Value moves upward on that scarcity trajectory. Owners holding Garands understand they're holding time. Original production will never restart. Demand from new shooters never ends. The math is inevitable. Number 2. Colt Single Action Army. The Colt Single Action Army presents a paradox. New prices dropped $336 in 12 months. Used prices declined $71. Both moved downward. But demand for new models went up 14 units while used demand went up 5 units. The trend is perverse and fascinating. Here's what's happening. New single-action Army production is incredibly limited. Colt makes maybe a few hundred annually. Lead times stretch to 18 months. When someone orders a new single-action Army, they're waiting a year and a half. By the time it arrives, the market has moved. Dealers can't sell at manufacturer's suggested retail price. They discount. That drives the official price average downward. But nobody's buying new anyway because the wait is too long. So buyers shift to the used market. Second-generation single-action Armies from 1956 to 1975 are steady sellers. Third-generation models move reliably. Fourth-generation custom shop guns move quickly. This final section ties the entire investment strategy together, focusing on the legacy of the Colt name and the power of scarcity. I have converted all technical generations, model names, dates, and currency into their natural spoken forms. Converted script. The real story is second-generation appreciation. These guns were made for actual use. Cowboys carried them. Ranchers trusted them. They're not pristine. They're working guns. And working guns from that era are becoming scarce. Someone offering a second-gen single-action Army gets multiple offers now. That's the supply shift. Smart owners recognize the production bottleneck. New single-action Army manufacturing will never scale. Colt intentionally keeps it limited to maintain exclusivity and value. That means the only way to own one without a year-and-a-half wait is buying used. That sustained used demand supports appreciation. Number 1. Colt Python. The Colt Python jumped $91.10 in 12 months. New demand went up 26 units. Used demand went up 18 units. Both channels moving upward. That's the signal that scarcity is becoming apparent. Here's the reality. The original Generation 1 Python, manufactured from 1955 to 2005, is a completely different animal than the new production. The original guns have better timing, better trigger pulls, better fit and finish. They were handmade by gunsmiths, not production lines. An original Generation 1 Python from 1955 now sells for $3,000 minimum. A 1960 example goes $3,500 to $4,500. The early years are moving into Grail gun territory. That's not speculation, that's collectors voting with cash. But here's what matters for current owners. Generation 2 production, the Pythons made from 2020 to 2025 are already appreciating. A Python purchased at retail for $1,500 2 years ago sells for $1,750 today. That's appreciation while new. That's the rarity signal. Supply is intentionally constrained. Colt makes them slowly. Dealers can't keep inventory. When a new revolver appreciates while new, it means demand exceeds supply at retail price. Buyers are willing to pay more used than the manufacturer's suggested retail price. That only happens when production is intentionally limited to maintain scarcity. Smart money isn't debating whether to buy a Python. Smart money already owns one. They're holding because the trajectory is clear. Production will slow, demand will accelerate, prices will follow. This is the #1 gun smart owners are holding, because Colt's track record shows production stops and starts. Every time it stops, panic buying accelerates, prices spike. Every time it restarts, inventory is limited, prices climb again. That cycle is guaranteed. That's why they hold. Conclusion: smart owners aren't buying new. They're holding what they have. While panic sellers dump guns into a soft market, experienced collectors are patient. They understand that scarcity moves slower than panic, that supply tightening takes time, that the guns going down in value today are the ones flooding the market. The guns holding value are the ones people refuse to sell. The countdown proved it. From the Winchester 94 climbing 27% to the Colt Python steady appreciating, disciplined money moved in the same direction. Not glamorous, not fast, just holding while everyone else panics. That's how real wealth gets built. Patience over panic. Hold over sell.